Hey, what's up, guys? This is my buddy's gun. It's a Mr920 Shadow Systems, and the trigger on it's really hard right now. So we're gonna go ahead and add the Zev Technologies. It's a Start Kit Pro. It has the trigger connector, the firing pin spring, and the trigger housing spring, and then also the plunger spring. So this should make a huge difference. This is not really a how-to because my camera view, I understand, is not so great. But just to show people that this will make a huge difference. And then I'm going to put some information in there so if they have an issue like I had, they could just fix it. I wish I had a better camera angle or camera in view just to do this kind of stuff, but it's kind of hard to work around with the tripod sitting there. It's a small one. I have to get a better one. All right, guys, let's get into it. Super hard wall, a little bit of pre-travel, super loud, crisp brake. It's pulling right now about 5.5 pounds. So we're gonna try to reduce that with the Zev Technologies. Let's see what this is pulling at. Yeah, right at 5.5. So first thing we're gonna do is go ahead and push down the tabs, take the slot off, take the spring, recoil spring off tension, and then we're gonna pop this pin out and pull the trigger housing out. Use your awesome Glock tool. We're gonna have to take out the locking block pin and the trigger pin. This one will come out pretty easy, usually. Yeah. Then this one it's a little hard. You might have to wiggle the trigger around, and you might have to wiggle the slide release around because it has grooves in it and it'll grab. So wiggle it around while pushing down. On the Gen 3 models, takes a little bit of messing with it. There it goes. Pull the slide release out, put the pin back over here. Take the locking block out. Then the whole trigger housing should come out along with the trigger. So we're going to change the connector, the firing spring, and the trigger spring, and the trigger housing. This one here is going to be 6.5 pounds. So what that one does is it actually helps pull the trigger. So everybody hears the loud or the high number and they think, oh man, 6.5. No, it actually assists in pulling the trigger. So now we'll take this off. And notice, I don't know if you see it, but this spring is coming around and the opening is on this side. Then we're going to take it off on this end. Can you see that? And then this end is the opposite way. All right, so this other side of the spring is what you're going to want to do is pull it out a little bit, flip it around, and then wiggle it off. All right, so the new spring is going to go in same way. So I got it in, as you see there. I'm gonna pull it a little bit, pull it a little bit, flip it over. Just like that. Now we're gonna pop this trigger bar off, put the aftermarket one on by itself. Just like that. Slide her right in, push her all the way down. Then we're going to take this, just like that. Then you're going to slide this back in there, and then it all should sit just like that. Now it's ready to go back in. Slide this bad boy back into the trigger. Slide the trigger housing back in. Slide that back down, and let's put some pins back in. I'm gonna start with the trigger housing pin. Stick it in first. Anyway, popped it back in. You'll see on this gun, we changed the mag release. It's a little more extended. That's by Tyrant CNC. It's a really nice release. Feels really comfortable. Next thing we're going to do is the firing pin spring. So typical breakdown. Good. Put your Glock tool in here, put up a little bit, push firing pin down, slide this plate off, keep your finger over it, catch the springs, just like that. Next thing we're going to do is take these cups off. So you're going to put the pressure down, take the pressure off the springs, pull these cups out, and slide this spring right out. That's the original. We're going to put the new spring on. Put the new cups on. Usually I do it, the best way to do it is reverse. My tripod's not high enough, unfortunately. Maybe. So take your firing pin, stick it in backwards where it goes, and then slide the cups in. Be right back. So that's how I got it back on with the new spring. Just like this. Couldn't do it because I'm actually hugging my tripod right now. So I had to hit pause for a minute. Sorry about that, guys. So the last thing to change with this kit is going to be the plunger spring, which is under here. So we're going to have to take off the plate and then pull their spring out because it's a little different than a Glock. A Glock, that spring comes out right here. But instead we have to take this off and then pull the spring out right here. So on this plate, these screws are going to be T10s. All right, so I took the plate off, and then you'll see the spring is right here. So once you take that pin out, this pin right here, it's going to lose all its pressure. So they say you can push this pin out right here through that little hole, but I don't have anything even that small to go in there. So the second way to do it is take the pressure off this spring, flip it over, and have the pin fall out. So I got the pin mostly out. I was able to find something to stick in there. I'm just gonna pull it out the rest of the way with this needle nose. I'll try to. Yeah, there we go. And all the pressure should be off here. Pop the ejector out. They say the spring should come forward after we pull the plunger out. It's not. So we'll just help it for a second. There we go. And it's gonna come out the front. As you see, it's coming out the front there. Just pop it out. Take the old plunger spring off. Put it with the other original parts. Take the new plunger spring. I'll clean off some of this oil. He oiled the heck out of this thing. Clocks and shadow system does not need a lot of oil. They run really good dry. This thing has got tons of oil on it. Gotta get some of this oil out of here. And you just collect dust and dirt. Yeah, it's nasty. It's a fairly new gun. Not very many rounds through it. Still has the shipping grease stuff in it. Now we're gonna put the plunger back in and just do the reverse. I'm gonna try to do it around this tripod, I don't know. There we go. We'll put the plunger spring back in. Make sure that little plunger spring is in. Plunger and plunger spring, should I say.
Reassembly process is similar to what you just saw. Again, I think it's easier to go in from the front with the shorter plunger assembly. We're making sure that we have the plunger oriented forward instead of the bearing. Okay, and then we're going to insert our extractor. This one's a little catchy. I guess it's because it's new. So, oops, I almost forgot my firing pin safety. Sorry, firing pin safety. There we go. And now my extractor. Okay, so now I've got my assembly in there, and you'll notice my spring is waiting for me right there. I'm going to try to do this on camera. I don't know if I'll be able to, but basically we tension that spring by grabbing a coil of it. We hold it in a fixed position, and then we drop in the pin. And so you'll see the pin is now in place.
All right, guys, got it back in. Now we're going to put the firing pin back in. And then we're going to put the plate back on. Oh. Like I said, man, I just had surgery on my arm, so everything's not wanting to work too well. But now we're going to put this plate back on. So I'm going to put some blue Loctite on this, just so he doesn't lose his screws at the gun range or wherever he's at. And then I'm going to put the screws in. Okay. Now we're going to put the locking block in. Do the top pin. Might have to wiggle the trigger around. Man, my fingers aren't working. We're going to slide the Tyrant Designs CNC back in. Slide slide lock. It's gonna go in just like that. And I'm gonna pop that pin back all the way through. A lot of times on the Gen 3s, you're gonna have to, Gen 3 platforms, you're gonna have to wiggle this around to get that pin all the way through. That's it. The Zev Technologies spring connector kit. Went from 5.5, almost 6 pounds, to 3. Show it to you. 3, 3.5. Wish I had a digital gauge. So 3.5 on that one. Three and a quarter. 3 3/4. Let's do one more. A little bit over 3.